Hi, Mark here from Primal Screens, and today we're counting down the top 5 horror remakes. Remaking a classic film always puts your new production on shaky ground from the start, but if one genre can get away with it, it's definitely horror. If you've got the right elements in place that horror fans love, then mostly the rest can be forgiven. So let's get straight into it. At number 5 we have Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Let's start off big, right? Hot on the heels of the late 90s slasher rejuvenation with films like Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer, it was inevitable Hollywood was going to dip back into its archives and go the remake route. The first one that made horror fans' ears prick up was this remake. To take on such an iconic movie and villain would be a tough task, but director Marcus Nispel and his star-studded cast, including man crush Jessica Biel, put up a good job. It has the classic opening hitchhiker scene and moves on to plenty of carnage from there. It delivers on utter mayhem and that unnerving feel of the original. Number 4 is I Spit on Your Grave, a classic exploitation film from 1978, remade back in 2010. To true horror fans, the original is a classic, but to the general public, especially a younger audience, the original film may have gone under the radar. What the remake in 2010 done was introduce the exploitation genre to a new young audience and show them the delights that this subgenre can offer. The remake carries the utter shock of the original and another prolonged rape scene and characters that are just scum of the earth. The villains all play their role well, but the star of this remake is Sarah Butler. Her turn from victim to instigator works just as well as the first one. I would say the original held on to more of the unnerving atmosphere, but this remake puts it up a good fight. Number 3 is Last House on the Left. There are 3 main components that every horror fan loves: suspense, gore and shocking behaviour. This remake has all 3, especially the last 2 in abundance. The original, shot by none other than horror legend Wes Craven, truly shocked the world when it first came out in 1972. The original was heavily censored and banned in some countries. This was never going to happen with a more Hollywood remake, but what does surprise is how violent this film is in an era of political correctness. The new remake is a bloody good horror film and works as a great horror as a standalone, even without the original name attached. It's violent, sadistic and gory. That's what we all love, right? Now we're getting to the business end, and in at number 2 is Nightmare on Elm Street. Let's face it, the original and its sequels is one of the greatest horror franchises ever. Doing a remake of this original would always be a mammoth task. Now the reason we've put this so high is that it's not the best remake ever, but it gets high award and high marks for taking on a monster and trying to scale the seemingly unscalable. The remake delves a bit more into Freddy's history, which some people liked, some didn't. But what it does really well is recreate the fear of the original. Never knowing when Freddy will turn up in both the original and in the remake is a thing of beauty. If the 2010 remake is the closest we get to another classic Freddy film, I will take it. This remake definitely stirred up the scared kid in me from when I watched the originals as a young boy and had many sleepless nights. And now it's on to the king, number 1, the big daddy of them all, and that award goes to Evil Dead. The original sits alongside a few select genre-defining horror films. The remake, directed by Fede Alvarez, is quite simply a blueprint of how a horror remake should be made. Although not exactly a shot-for-shot remake, but more of a prequel or a new franchise starter, it does what every remake should: stays faithful to the original story, but turns everything up to 11. The gore in this film is like nothing I've ever seen before in film. The blood literally flows and covers the screen. It was gory, frightening and actually really fun to watch. This is about as good as it gets as a remake and as a horror film on its own. It just works and will be revisited for many years to come. So that's it, our top 5 horror remakes of all time. Thanks for watching. If you liked our countdown, be sure to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment if you feel we missed out any films, and finally please subscribe to our channel, because for every person that doesn't subscribe, Freddy will infiltrate one more child's dream.